lowering his blade from the throat of Chancellor Palpatine. The brief flash of hesitation spelled the end for Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker and the kindling for the birth of Darth Vader. Heading to the Jedi Temple, Anakin intercepts Master Windu and informs him of the true identity of Palpatine as the Sith Lord they have been looking for in Darth Sidious. Despite Mace Windu's orders for Anakin to stay at the temple, the Sith Lord had already seeped his way into his mind, and he jumped into his starfighter to the Chancellor's office. The sight which greeted him gave him one last chance to escape the trappings of the Sith. As Mace Windu swung his lightsaber towards the ailing Sidious, Anakin sealed his fate by slicing off Windu's hand. Collapsing to the floor in guilt, he had no choice but to bow to his new master as Darth Vader. Across the galaxy, his former padawan Ahsoka Tano felt the events on Coruscant as she made her way through hyperspace, but had no time to react as Order 66 commenced. Following his master's orders, Vader led the 501st Legion up the steps of the Jedi Temple and began his purge of the Jedi. But what if Vader, in a moment of hesitation or guilt, contacted his former padawan Ahsoka Tano? How would Vader be brought back to the light? What would Sidious do to counteract the betrayal of his apprentice? All of those questions are going to be answered. Leaving the heavily damaged office of Palpatine, Vader gathered the 501st Legion stationed in Coruscant, and together they marched towards the Jedi Temple. The gates were slightly ajar, and Vader prepared for the inevitable Jedi defense. Suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in his head and collapsed to the floor. The clones rushed to his aid, but do not know the true source of the pain. For the new Sith apprentice, the recent surge in dark side energy was just too much to handle, and he began to feel the light side battling within. Telling the clones to position themselves around the perimeter of the temple, Vader stumbled inside. Seeing the masses of fallen Jedi Knights and younglings, Anakin howled in pain. Fighting through it, he finds a nearby R4 astromech, and together they dodged a friendly fire to go to the missions room. The R4 unit connects the signal to Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka is not in a good predicament. Fighting off her own legion and trying to save Rex at the same time, she finally manages to find time to return the transmission. Without seeing her master's face, she knew something had been gravely wrong, but the hologram worsened the reality, if that was at all possible. Feeling the conflict within her master, she pleaded with him to come back to his senses and return to the light, but how could he, after all he had done? And there was still the question of Padme's life hanging in the balance. Ahsoka felt irate at her master for falling for the temptations of the dark side, but she wouldn't leave him in his moment of need. Deciding that she needed to get to Anakin as quickly as possible, she implored for her master to stop the 501st from attacking her. Anakin agreed, now so emotionally vulnerable that he was almost at the mercy of his padawan. Finding a ship in the primary hangar, she took the chip-free Rex with her and left Maul to fate. Taking a massive risk in heading to Coruscant, she made sure to stay in continuous contact with Anakin, refusing to let him out of her sight. Evading most of the aerial assaults from all of the other clones, Ahsoka and Rex spin to the surface in a fireball. Ejecting just before landing, the subsequent explosion drew the attention of the nearby ground troopers, providing the Jedi and clone with little respite. Making their escape to Coruscant's high-end housing district, they lose the clones in the congested and narrow alleyways, allowing Ahsoka to contact Anakin again. But there was no response. The feeling of hope had vanished in one moment. Just as Ahsoka was about to make her way to the temple to find Anakin, she heard the smashing of glass above her head. Gazing upwards to find its source, she blocked the shards of glass with her hands, before hearing the voice of Anakin. Ascending the wall with elegant speed and agility, Ahsoka propelled her way to the epicenter of the action, leaving Rex to scale the wall via the more conventional ascension cable. With her lightsabers lighting the area, Ahsoka recognized this to be the apartment of Padme Amidala, and saw the clashing blades of her master and Obi-Wan. Padme was on the floor, most likely Ahsoka thought from shock. Taking small side steps along the ledge, Ahsoka saw that the battle moved to the more elevated area of Padme's apartment, allowing Ahsoka to levitate Padme towards her and Rex. Rex descends with the Senator, taking her to a nearby medical facility, leaving Ahsoka to try and handle the Master and the Apprentice. With their focus on each other, Ahsoka took the opportunity to force push both of them to opposing sides of the room, bringing them back to their senses. They both deactivate their blades, angry at the intervention of Ahsoka. Anakin looks around for Padme, but she is nowhere to be found. Pointing at Ahsoka, Ahsoka stays calm, informing Anakin she was going to the local medical facility. Anakin leaps out of the window and lands on the surface below, sprinting to the direction of Padme. A confused Ahsoka and Obi-Wan followed suit, scared of what Anakin would do next. The two Force users see Anakin bulldozing any obstructing clones, helping their own passage to Padme. Reaching the bedside of his wife, Anakin continues with his tirade, much to her confusion. Beside him, the diminutive and previously unseen figure of Grandmaster Yoda is forced to put Anakin into an induced sleep, allowing for Padme to give birth to Luke and Leia free of Anakin's remonstrations. After checking Padme was in full health, Anakin was awoken from his slumber. Taking in his surroundings, he looks at his hands in bemusement. The visions of Padme were gone, and his eyes had returned from their Sith yellow. And in that moment, he remembered once again what he had done. It was time for Anakin to repair the damage that he had caused. That is it for part 1 of What If Anakin Stayed in the Light During Order 66. If you would like to see a part 2, please like this video, and if you're new to this channel, and my other channel, subscribe for more tips. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.